In this video series, The Complete Beginner's Guide to Blender 5, we make this awesome scene here, and in this particular video, we're working on the monster's body. Do make sure you check the links in the description for any updates, and also for other great playlists and my courses. So let's get started making the monster's body. So here's where we got up to last time, and I just want to put the character, the old man character that is, into a collection. Now if I bring down the outliner, left click between my two windows and bring this down so we can see all the objects in my scene, you can create a new collection up top here, and you'll see that we've got one collection in the scene, which is just called collection, and everything's in that at the moment. If I select all my objects that make up the character, like I say, I can press the new collection up here, or in the viewport, I can press M to move to new collection, add new collection there, old man, and create. And now you can see they're all in this old man collection here, and I can hide in the viewport just there, and there's hide in the render just there as well. So when I render out, we won't see it as well. Do make sure that you tick both of these. You can click and drag over them both. Otherwise you might hide it in the viewport and suddenly it appears in your render by accident. So I would always select both each time. So you might want to pause the video here and put your old man into a collection and hide them. Now, it's always a good idea to start modeling right in the center of the world, so where these two X and Y axis cross, but our 3D cursor is not in the middle. To move the 3D cursor, we can try and get it accurately in the middle there with Shift right click, or we can press Shift S for the cursor pie menu, so Shift S, and then bring our mouse down to cursor world origin just there, and that jumps our cursor back to the world origin, as you can see there. Now I can press Shift A to add, and that's, again, the same as the add menu up here, mesh, and then cube. I'll scale this down slightly. This is going to be the trunk of our monster, and I'll scale in the Y so it's a bit thinner. Somewhere around there looks good. Nice starting point. Let's go to front view with one on my numpad and duplicate this object. Shift D, bring that off to the side here for the upper thigh. So somewhere around here, and I'll scale in the X axis to bring that down. And let's go to side view and scale in the Y to bring that down there. Back to front view, and that's 1 and 3 on my numpad. Remember, you can use the Cartesian coordinates up here, and I'll press Shift D to duplicate in the Z axis and bring that down to somewhere around here and scale it down. So this is the lower leg now, and then bring it up again. And again, I can constrain it to the Z if we want to keep it in exactly the line. Just there's good. Shift D to duplicate in the Z for the foot, and I'll bring that down to there. Scale Z, bring that down, and up to somewhere around here looks good. And let's go to side view now and think about the leg positioning. I'll scale this in the Y for the foot, G then Y to bring that forward, and we've got the leg there. It just looks very straight at the moment, so let's go to side view again and rotate it slightly. So R to rotate there, R to rotate there, and we've got a slight bend in the leg then. I'll just reposition these very slightly to something like this. Okay, so we've got the starting point of our leg just there. So now's a good time to catch up with me, creating the trunk of the monster and the left leg. Pause the video and have a go at that. Okay, so one thing you might notice is when I move around, there's a bit of flickering between these two objects. That's because they are exactly the same width and exactly on top of each other. And that generally doesn't look very nice, so it's a good idea to make sure that one object, in this case I'm going to choose the foot, is just slightly bigger than the other. So scale, then X, and I'll hold down Shift for small increments, and it's slightly bigger so we don't get that flicker. That's one way of avoiding it. We'll change the shape of this later on anyway, but I thought it'd be a good idea to show you that one. Okay, so a quick challenge to you. I want you to mirror our leg objects across to the other side. Remember to do a mirror for one object and copy the mirror for the other two. Pause the video and have a go at that. Okay, so hopefully you remembered. I'll select the first one, down to our spanner object here, add modifier, start typing in mirror, and we'll add the mirror. I'll just bring this up so we can see our modifiers nice and easily. We're mirroring along the X-axis, but we can't see any difference because it's mirroring on its object origin, so it looks exactly the same. We need to use the mirror object of the middle object, so I'll choose that one, and let's jump to the other side. That's great. Now I want to copy this modifier to these ones here. Hopefully you remembered, we can select the two we want to copy to first, and the one we want to copy from last. That makes that the active object. It's highlighted yellow, and I can now press Ctrl L and copy modifiers, and then the legs jump to the other side. So that's a good starting point, and we'll probably come back to this and adapt it in just a moment. But let's work on the torso now. So I'll go to front view once again, and I'll select the middle object here, the trunk, and duplicate it and bring that up in the Z axis. This time it's important to make sure it's in the Z axis because it's really helpful to have that object origin in the center for any mirroring. I'll scale in the X and bring that up, so it's nice and wide, somewhere around about here, and let's just go across to side view just there. And I want a slight lean to this character, so they're leaning over and the old man's going to be down here somewhere. So that can be a good starting point there. So just quickly catch up with me, duplicating the trunk and making it into a torso and rotating it slightly. Okay, now what I want to do is add a little bit of complexity to this, so make it sort of slightly triangular so it comes in here. Nothing too major, and we could do this quite easily just by going in, adding a loop cut and scaling down the bottom face. But what I want to introduce to you is another way of using the mirror modifier, where it's actually mirroring on its own object origin. So what we'll do, we'll go into edit mode, and in order to be able to edit one side, and an update on the other side, I need to cut this in half, delete one side and mirror one side across the other. So I'll show you what that looks like. I'll do a loop cut down the middle, so Control R. And if I left click now and then right click, that will cancel any movement. So left click is to apply the loop cut. And normally you'd move it and then left click again to set the position, but we can not move it and right click to cancel any movement. So left click, then right click. If that's confusing, left click and just make sure that down in the dialog box in the left-hand corner here, your factor is set to 0. That's the position. So I can click on this and just reset it to 0, and that will definitely be in the center. I can close down this dialog box here. And now what I want to do is delete half of my faces. So I could go to face mode and select these faces here, but because I'm in solid mode, it doesn't always select the back ones. And in fact, it hasn't selected this side one here either. It should only select areas that it sees, just like there. And if I select here, it's only selecting those ones. So in order to select all of this side, we can go to wireframe or X-ray mode. So if I go to wireframe now, that's what wireframe looks like. And we can see through our object. And that's very useful for selecting a group of faces like this. And then I can delete them. I'll just quickly show you that there's X-ray mode as well. So if I turn off X-ray mode in wireframe, it's quite strange. It's like solid mode, but with an outline, and I'll turn it back on. But you can also have X-ray mode in solid mode. So solid mode there, X-ray mode enabled, and you can have a kind of solid view, but see through the object at the same time. So that's quite useful. So select half my shape and I'll press delete and then faces. So I've now got half of my model, and you can see there's an empty face in the middle there. It's a bit tricky to see with X-ray mode on, but we can definitely see it when we go back into solid mode. Hence why you have lots of different options with the views, so you can easily see what's going on in your scene. So now when I add the mirror modifier, it should, if it's mirroring along the x-axis, mirror around our object origin and give us another half just here. So cross to the spanner, add modifier, start typing in mirror, and choose the mirror. And there it is, across to the other side, because we're choosing the x-axis just here. So this time there's no need for us to choose a mirror object, because it is by default mirroring by itself and its own object origin, and therefore mirroring this side over here to this side here. And that's why we can see this outline of the object here, because we can't actually select anything on this side because that's the modifier doing that work, but we can select things on this side and edit them. So I'll undo that selection, and now's a good time to pause the video, catch it with me. So cutting the torso in half, deleting half the shape, and then adding a mirror modifier. Now there is one thing to point out here. If I go once again to wireframe, I'll go to vertex mode now and select the middle vertices. If I press G to grab in the x-axis, I can actually pull the shape apart and have a big gap in the middle. Now often we want our mesh to be joined in the middle, and there is a button for that within the mirror modifier, and it's this clipping button here, so it's clip together. So if I press G to grab in the x-axis now and bring them together, it stops at the middle, and if I left click now and press G to grab in the x-axis and try and pull it apart, it's stuck together. I would have to turn clipping off, then G, then X, and pull it apart. But I'll undo that and turn it back on. It's really useful to have them stuck together in the middle like that. So pause the video, catch it with me, and turn clipping on. You might want to just quickly try moving it apart first to see what that's like, and then make sure it's clipped in the middle and joined together like so. Okay, so let's do a little bit of adaptation. I'll just go back to solid mode so we can see it more easily. And I'll keep X-ray mode turned on so that you can kind of see what's going on when I'm modeling. The first thing I want to do is kind of create a bit more of a triangle shape to the torso. So I'll press Control R to do a loop cut around here. And it's probably about right in this position. So I'll left click again. And again, we can come down to the dialog box here and just check the factor there. Because I left clicked twice, I'd actually moved it really slightly, but that's fine in this situation. Then I'm going to box select these vertices here and then press press G to grab in the x-axis and move those across. So I've created my triangular shape here. I just want to move these down now. Now I can press G then Z, but that creates a slight kind of bend here. That might be okay, to be honest. But if I wanted it to move down perfectly in line with the other shape, I'll just undo that. I can press G then Z twice, because that's the local Z axis. That's a little bit confusing to understand, but if I just quickly go to object mode and press N on my keyboard, you can see that this object has been rotated, but this is the global axis. The object still kind of remembers its original axis, which is the Z going at a slight angle up like this. Well, at 12 degrees, in fact, up like this. So again, if I go into edit mode now and press G then Z twice, that will give me the local Z, and I can bring it down perfectly like this. So pressing the axis twice is the local axis for the object you have selected. So my shape's looking okay. I might just bring these two out a bit. So G to grab, bring those out and just give it a bit more of a chest there. And I'll go back into object mode and G to grab and just move that forward very slightly just there. And let's bring it down just a touch so it's overlapping the other trunk just there. That's good. I want to do some adaptations. I feel like the trunk is far too big and the legs are a bit big. So just a few adaptations here. But one more slide adaptation on my torso. I'll just move these top ones. I'll press G then Z twice for the local Z axis and give it a bit of a neck there. It's sort of a fake neck really, but let's say a back that curves up slightly like so. Okay, so that's great. And before I do any adaptations, you might want to just catch up with me, creating this shape to your torso. And in fact, one minor edit I'm going to make, I'm just going to bring the back out slightly more as well, make it a bit more chunky. There we go, that's good. So catch up with me making those adjustments. So lastly, I want you to edit the trunk, take a look at my finished model in the corner here, and you're going to try and edit the trunk without the mirror modifier into this position, just as a bit of practice. Pause the video and have a go at that. Okay, so you might have noticed that if I select the trunk and go into edit mode, there was an extra loop cut around the middle here. So Control R, loop cut, left click a couple of times to put that into position. And this section here was just scaled down a bit. So there's a little bit of an angle. So it comes in and then the legs can join in the side here a little bit better. I'll scale it a little bit further actually, maybe somewhere around there. And then I can select the legs, G to grab and the X and move those across. Remember, they've got that mirror object in the middle there. So both legs will come inwards. I'm also going to rotate around the Z axis and move them out very slightly. Give it a bit more of a squat position, a natural squat there with the feet going outwards slightly. And at this point, you can do a little bit of editing yourself. Maybe take the top one, go into edit mode, and I could select these ones, G then Z twice to go down in the local Z axis. And that creates more of a leg shape at the top there. And what I've actually done is added an icosphere in the top here as well. I'll just go to front view and I'll just G then Z twice to bring that down a little bit lower. And these ones at the bottom here, I'm going to taper them in slightly. Looks a bit more like a leg then. Then back into object mode, shift right click to move my 3D cursor, shift A to add, mesh, and then an icosphere. So this round sphere that I can just move in the middle there, round to side view with 3 on my numpad and move that into position. So just overlapping a bit. So it kind of looks like a bum really. And then I'll copy the modifier from here. So shift select this one last, Control L to copy the modifier from the active object. And that's across the other side. On the calf muscle, I'll do a little bit of adaptation here. So these ones here, I'll just scale those in. And that's looking quite good. And maybe on the feet, let's just go to the feet and into edit mode. And these top two here, I could actually go to edge mode and select the top edge. That would make more sense. G then Z and bring that down. So we've got what look like feet. Looks perhaps a little bit spiky at the top there. So into object mode, select the top leg, into edit mode. Can I select the top edge there? Yes, it's just selected there, and G to grab and just move that in slightly so it's nearer the ball there. They look less spiky. And there we have the bottom legs for our character. And we've even got a weird sort of bum at the bottom there. Okay, let's go back into object mode, so out of X-ray mode, and have a look at the final result. Back into object mode, and let's just move his bum in a bit. So G then X, move that in just a touch more. So it's not overlapping with the edge of the thigh there, just there. And that looks good. In fact, let's go back a bit. So G then Y, bring that back a bit. Ah, now it's sticking out again. Further in, G then X, move that in there. There we go. Monster bum, perfect stuff. Okay, so as always, make sure you've caught up with me. If you get any problems, do check the links in the description for any updates. And if you've got any questions, then do comment below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.